Okay, so for today's video, I went around UB and I asked different people what advice they would give to people taking up their majors and looking to join this major or whatever, sides and positives, and share how they felt about it. So yeah, like the video, subscribe, share, UB edition. Okay, what's the advice?
I'd say, stay encouraged. We got this.
Okay.
People who don't take electrical engineering, don't take it. Kind of hard. Physics and stuff. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Just the mic?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what I would like to say to anybody who can major, please, I recommend for you to at least take 18 credits per semester.
Okay.
In order for you to finish early. And it's a lot of work. I know some nights you'll be crying and pulling out hair, but you could do it. Just push through.
Okay, advice to somebody taking up your major.
Really and truly, don't be me right now. Like, don't take sociology. Don't take psychology. Don't take any other class that I have.
Right.
Don't rename me, And just don't do my major in general. You might think that you like it. No, you don't. I would tell them, don't do it. It's very ghetto. 8 a.m. class.
Oh wow.
Okay, hi, my name is Brittany. Taking up tourism. The advice I give to anybody right now is to don't listen to what anybody says. Just
Yes.
do. And if you feel like something wrong, just stay true to yourself.
Yeah. Okay. What's the advice you would give?
Just study.
Okay.
It's facts. It's not facts. These sites is not facts. It's not facts.
What's the advice you would give to somebody who in your major?
Okay, so the advice that I would give to somebody that's in my major would be that despite it being hard, despite it being a lot of work and sleepless nights, I feel as though that it is worth it at the end of the day because you get a new and different experience just based on your whole college life experience itself.
Okay, what's the advice you would give to somebody in your major?
As a psychology major, everything you thought was real is fake. Everything that you thought was fake is real. But everything at the same time is fake.
Yeah. Okay. Advice on accounting.
Well, if you ain't take account before, never take it.
Oh wow.
Accounting is complete garbage. So, if you do take it, drop it immediately.
Okay. Okay. What's the advice you would give to somebody in your major?
Okay, firstly, hi, my name is Adriana. My major is psychology, and I would suggest anybody who is interested in joining my discipline, be ready for a lot of paperwork, a lot of reading, and most importantly, if it's something that you want to go into, I know that it's a very diverse field. However, have passion and be persistent and consistent in whatever that you do in regards to whatever subtype you want to go into, and just stay focused and be very eventful. A very eventful journey.
So what's the advice you would give to somebody in your major?
Okay, well, my major is law and criminal justice, and I'm on my first year. One advice I would give to someone that's interested in this is make sure this is what you want to do, because it's a lot of years, it's a lot of reading, it's a lot of time. Yeah, and you gotta be good with time management. So just make sure this is what you want to do.
Okay, so what's the advice you would give to somebody in your major?
Okay, my major is nursing. Advice I would give for someone in my major is to make sure you know which teacher you're picking. Don't go right there and pick one random teacher. Check UB survival, because that's a serious thing. And then on top of that, study. You basically teaching yourself.
Yep. Okay.
You're your own teacher. Make sure you always study.
All right. Okay, so what's the advice you give to somebody and who taking up your major?
My major is biology with chemistry. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna get hard, but you have to stay on top of your assignments. Lab reports are very hard, so as soon as you get them, try your best to complete them out of the way.
Okay, what's the advice y'all give to somebody in your major or whatever you're taking up?
The advice I'd give to someone is to not give up on your goals, but keep pushing.
My advice is, even though it may feel like you feel like you're getting, keep pushing. There's always some place ahead there.
Definitely.
My major is computer information systems, specifically programming. I'd say do your own solo programming projects because they look good on your resume, and that's the only way you can really prove that you actually have these skills. Other than you going to class, you can't really prove that you know Python, etc., and that's the project. I'd say it's important for you to focus on your extracurricular classes, specifically like your business classes, because we don't know about regular computer programming, like program. We have like business administration with focus on computer programming. So it'll be more important classes like your management, your business law, etc., etc. And just stick to it. It is get hard, you know. Everybody in school.
Okay, what's the advice you give to somebody in your major?
Well, I take up media journalism, so always listen to the news and be aware of what's going on.
So what advice would you give to somebody in whoever taking up your major?
Okay, so I take primary education, and one thing I can say is get close with the people that are in your classes, because all of us help each other really, really well, and basically, yeah.
Okay, so what advice would you give to somebody who taking up your major?
I study CIS. Watch out for them business classes. Things they answer. Study after them.
All right.
Going into secondary education already, in secondary education is to consider, is this the field that you want to be in, and are you ready? So,
okay, so what's the advice to somebody taking up your major?
Okay, my major is education, right? If you're looking for money, say it.
Okay, what advice would y'all give to somebody who taking up your major?
Okay, so my major is education, specifically Spanish education, and then the advice I would give to someone who is planning to take this major, is taking this major, is if you don't have the heart or the passion for it, honestly, don't do it, because you wouldn't be into it, and it's a lot of work. So you have to have the heart and the passion to do it.
My major is mathematics and engineering. It's pretty tough, I'm not gonna lie to you. And even if I say to someone, they always be like, oh, you know, you're gonna get shocked or whatever. But you know what? I would say don't watch the people around you. This is your journey. You know, don't stop. Keep going. And for me, I wasn't good in math in high school, but I'm doing it now. You know, when I get my degree, I can be proof that if you want to do it, and if you're willing to do it, you can do it.
Okay, so what's the advice you give to somebody who taking up your major?
Make sure you don't take no prep classes and do not listen to your advisors.
Okay.
You still listen to your advisors.
All right.
You're not doing whatever foolishness you're supposed to be doing. And not taking the classes you're supposed to be taking.
Okay, so what's a message you would give to somebody who taking up your major?
Well, for someone taking marine science with the small sustainability block, that program, like, you really have a passion for it and caring about the environment and conservation and sustainability is definitely like a very niche thing nowadays, but it's super important when it comes to the global environment.
Okay, so what advice would you give to somebody taking up your major?
I would say it may get hard, but you should keep pushing, you should keep trying.
Okay, so what's the advice you would give to somebody taking up your major?
So, first of all, my name is biology. I would say pull a strong hand and read that. Study. I'd be careful.
Okay, so what's the advice you would give to somebody in your major?
If you love it, just go extra hard, put in the extra work, like put in the effort there, everything you do. And me, I do physical education because I like basketball, I like sports, so just work hard,
Yeah. Okay, so what's the advice you would give to somebody in your major?
It ain't as easy as people make it sound. Like, physical education ain't just PE, bro. Like, we gotta do a lot of biology. Like, it ain't easy. I like shit. I in kinesiology. I should be studying all kind of dumb shit. So
yeah. Okay, so what's the advice you give to somebody in your major?
I would tell them, if you like math, try to pass it.
Okay, so what's the advice you give to somebody who taking up your major?
Good day. First of all, my major is culinary arts, as you can see. But my advice would be to someone who's in that study to continue to push, and it has to be a passion, because if it's not, trust me, it's gonna be like a lot of pressure on you.
Okay, so what's the advice you give to somebody who taking up your major?
Well, just stay strong, stay persistent, don't give up, just keep pushing straight to the end, and eventually you'll get there.
Okay, so what's the advice you give to somebody taking up your major?
My major is business management. My advice is to those who are taking that is to read a lot. It's a lot of reading. If you don't read, you can flop. So
Okay, so what's the advice you give to somebody taking up your major?
My advice would be to stay focused because it's going to get hard, it's going to get stressful. You can start to cry a couple of nights and think if that's the right choice. But yeah, don't worry about that. Just stay focused and put the work in.
Yeah.
It'll come to you.
So what's the advice you give to somebody who's taking up your major?
Okay, well, I'm a psychology major, and I would say be prepared to read, be prepared to write. You can't slap up, especially once you get past your second year. You can't slap up, you can't procrastinate the way you think you can, because it's hard. And here for the week, you can't have no life for you.
Okay, so what's the advice you give to somebody taking up your major?
For education majors, I'd recommend school as much as you can, getting that experience, you know, maybe getting an internship, maybe being a teacher's aide, you know. And for whatever, like, I'm doing secondary ed, so for whatever, like, subject you want to teach, just go hard at it, learn as much as you can in the classroom, like, show on what you're giving them, the information you're giving them.
I'm an art education major, and in general, well, the advice you get from a lot of teachers is don't go into education. But I don't want to say that because I don't want to discourage people. But again, like, you really have to love it. You really have to have a passion for teaching people, or else you'll hate it because it's so hard. And there's so many obstacles other than the teaching itself. You have admin who will be crazy, parents that are crazy, you have other teachers who are crazy. You just really have to have a passion for it.
Okay, so what advice would you give to somebody taking up your major?
My major is primary education. I would say don't quit, don't love it. It's no good feeling. Don't do it if you don't love it. And do your work online because
yeah. Okay, so what's the advice you give the students going to UB?
The best advice I give is just stay focused. You know, I would spray yourself at the end. You know, you're going to have challenges now and again. But the main focus is stay focused.